Now this is where we see those hippos, and I told you that they did practice abstinence. So this is where we are going to see our male hippos. Got one up over there. They can hold their breath for about 5 to 8 minutes, and they don't actually swim, they just kind of walk through the water there. On the left side here we've got our female hippos. And they can actually be the most dangerous animal in Africa. They are herbivores, but they're very territorial. So if anybody comes through their river, they are not going to be so welcoming. And then as we're coming up to, as I showed you backstage, we had those bridges that we drove past, and so these are some of the final outcome of those bridges that we saw. And so that's part of our Wild Africa trek. They actually get to walk right over those ferocious hippos, and then where our, oh, it looks like our crocodiles are out, so our now crocodiles.
So the door thing is you can walk?
Yep, you walk right over the top, you're connected to a harness, and so you walk over those animals, and then you get to have a special, kind of a snack or a meal out on the boma, and we'll point that out to you as well. It's called Wild Africa Trek. And then at some point you may see some rocks on the side of the road that say 12 kilometers or different measurements on there. At one point it was to kind of keep the safari drivers on time. So they would see, okay, they see the 12, it should be 12 minutes into their safari. Now that there's some pauses, it's not quite as accurate. So I don't, do you still use those?
It's somewhat accurate up until the middle of the savannah, but after that,
it's just not so much. This is our baobab tree, and it gets leaves for about 3 to 4 months out of the year. When was the last time you saw leaves on there?
A while.
It's one of our Disney real trees. So
oh, that's real?
It's not, no, it's not 1,000 years old. It is about 13 years old. And at one point they had it so they had a surveillance system on there so they could see what was going on. As far as I know, it's not in use right now, but it could be. So they could go ahead and keep an eye on the savannah here. This is one of the most beautiful views of our savannah, and it kind of gives you an idea that it is a bowl. So all of that dirt that they spent 2 years moving was able to be kind of more like a valley. And you'd be surprised, one of the best times to come on safari is actually when it's raining or just getting ready to rain. A lot of the animals become more active. You'll even see the elephants swimming, which is quite a treat. We know that those termite mounts are hard as concrete. So those can act as a lookout for our Thompson gazelle, our little stock. And so we've got lots of little access roads as well for our horticulture team to come out here and change out those plants, as well as for our keepers so that they can make their way through. So here's one of those rocks on the right side that I was telling you about with the different times. So we should supposedly be about 7 minutes into our safari. Yeah, about. So we found that our white-bearded wildebeest really love to be underneath this tree. However, it was kind of being a problem when the guests couldn't see it. So what they did was trimmed up the bottom of those leaves, and they're able to then get a peek inside where they like to hang out. So these are our white-bearded wildebeest, and they are they have the largest migration of all animals. So a lot of them. And then right out there you'll see that's the boma where the guests can get a better view, or I guess a longer view of the savannah, because we have a pretty great view on the safari truck as well.